Hello, it's Stacey Tuttle with Bridges 527. Just thought we'd have a quick discussion about the new Spirit movie that just came out. It's super cute. I went with a bunch of young girls who actually take horse riding lessons from me, so it was kind of fun for all of us to get to go see that together. As we walked out, I was asking one of the little girls what was her favorite part. So spoiler alerts, there will definitely be spoiler alerts in the discussion. But she mentioned like her favorite part. There's these three girls that they go on this big adventure together to save horses and whatever. But in the way, they have to cross over this, I think they call it the Ridge of Regrets. So it's this like canyon kind of a thing, and there's a I mean, honestly, I really was thinking my poor mother will have a hard time watching this. She's so scared of heights, even though it's just a cartoon. They're on this like rock rim. I'm in Colorado, so I know some, that kind of have this effect, but it's this rock rim with the canyons on both sides, and they're adjusting their horses as they go. And it's really interesting. I think that it's kind of a focal point of the movie. It definitely serves as a metaphor for so many of the things. There had been a lot of regrets, and her mom had died. The dad was filled with regret that he hadn't done anything to stop it and whatever. And that ridge of regret, because he had some things he regretted and was grieving and not healing healthily, the grandparents had come in and taken his daughter. So he had lost his daughter. So this ridge of regrets was separating them from where they needed to go. And they had to cross over. They had to face and deal with this scary thing of regrets in order to get to the destination. And really, I think that's so much relationally what was going on in the movie. They had to deal with some regrets and face some things head on for her and her dad to have that relationship. Also, as she was crossing on her horse, she and her horse it's kind of the new term, joining up. Like instead of breaking horses, I can talk about joining up now. And but basically it's just really becoming connected with your horse. So there's a partnership there. And the other girls laugh because this one girl is kind of new to horses, and they were like, only you would join up with your horse on the Ridge of Regrets. And I think that, again, is such a powerful metaphor for things that truly happen. Like as we face these scary things that separate us, as we face our regrets, face our struggles, as we go through really scary, intense times, depending on someone else, that's the thing that connects us the deepest. So it was in that place where she and her buddies became the most connected. It was in that place where she and her horse finally connected. It was facing those things that finally helped her dad and her have the relationships that they had longed for. So, it's a sweet little movie. Some of my favorite part, honestly, I spent so much of my childhood alone on a horse out, just kind of figuring things out for myself, exploring. And there was a lot of freedom where she was out kind of on her own, figuring these things out. And she has these magical moments out in the woods with the horses. And it spoke to my heart because it was my childhood. And then there's such a sweetness with her and her girlfriends around the campfire. They're having these adventures. They're facing something kind of scary, but they're all supporting each other. And then at night, like it's this horrible, scary thing they're facing, and they get the giggles about it. And it's like, I just loved the silliness, and like how sometimes no matter how bad it is, like laughter just takes over, and the joy of the Lord is our strength. And it was such a, it rang so true to real life to me, and the way, especially as girls, we just can giggle and laugh and connect over things, and the camaraderie that they had. So it was a really sweet little movie with a lot of great little moments and teachable moments, I think. There was one other thing that escapes me that I was like, oh, that was also really super cool. When she first, and you can see this in the previews, she first gets on this wild horse and they ride, and of course she stays on, but it's like she's flopping all over the place, and she gets done and escapes like falling into a cliff, this near-death experience, right? And her friends are all like, oh my God. I mean, everybody else realizes the danger, and they're like, you barely even hung on. Like she was like, I just rode a horse. And I loved the perspective that this girl, Lucky, just everything she does, she always sees the positive, like, wow, I rode a horse, rather than, oh my gosh, I almost got killed. And I think just the Lord's been working with me in my own life, even about rewriting some of the narratives. Instead of, wow, this is really hard, I can look at it as, wow, what a great adventure is in front of me. Or, just turning the things around, like instead of feeling unstable in my life, and different things, just going, wow, this is going to be an adventure. Adventure is a big thing for me. That brings joy to my life. So if I can make things an adventure, I can embrace the, like a roller coaster. It can be scary or it can be an adventure, right? I mean, the ups and downs are what makes it exciting. So, and we go to that with purpose. So that's been kind of my thoughts about rewriting the narrative in my life and seeing things as a joy. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. Just all these different things, even things I don't want to do. Like sometimes I don't feel like exercising, but I get to because I have a body that's able to move. Like what a joy that is. So rewriting the narrative, but she is a great example of that. She just always kind of sees the positive. And I have watched some friends of mine go through some really tragic, or could have been tragic, some horrific things recently. And that's one of the prayers we've had, as they have memories in their minds of something that was scary and terrifying and could have been horrific, and yet they all walked away and are surviving. And so my prayer for them has been that the Lord would rewrite the memories, because Satan wants to come in and go, that was so scary, you nearly died, this could have gone so bad, and then put fear in our hearts. He always speaks in fear. And instead, we've been praying that the Lord would show them where the Lord was for them in that moment. Where were the angels? Where was he? How was he protecting them? So that when Satan comes back and tries to tempt them with these fearful memories, they're like, are you kidding me? God was totally there and I survived this thing. I mean, that should have killed me. And instead, like, to just be laughing, like, wow, I rode a horse. Wow, I made it. Wow, God's totally been there for me. So the enemy has no foothold of fear in their lives. And all that he intended for evil in that, it works out for the good of the Lord, that they are more confident than ever in God's goodness and protection over them. So I think, again, that was something that really stood out to me in the movie, was her ability to do that and the way she kind of saw things. It can seem naive, but there's a grace in that and a protection in that fear is not going to rule her life, because she had a near-death experience on a horse instead. She's like, that was amazing. Let's do it again. And I really love that. And I survived it. So if I can survive that, I can learn to ride. So it's a sweet movie. I encourage you, as you go, to come out. I had some really sweet conversations with these kids. And my first question was just, what did you like about it? And as they shared, we were able to go, well, why did you like that? What was meaningful about that? What do you think that's saying about life? Or what do you think God may be telling you about your own soul, that part of the movie spoke to you? So if someone really likes the adventure part, that there's some reason about how they're made that speaks to them. But if it's like, oh, she reconnected with her father, or she was lonely and she had these friends, or, there's all these different kinds of moments that can really come to the surface. And that so reveals something about just the heart of the kid you're talking to and the things that God has written in them from the beginning of time. So call those things out, speak to them, encourage your kids, have fun kind of discussing it. And I think that is it for today.